دایی یه فرصت خوب، حالا پشت مدافع خداداد عزیزی توی دروازه، گل برای ایران. خداداد عزیزی باز هم روی زمین گشت سردار آزمون و توی دروازه آزمون، گل به نام آزمون و برای ایران.
بزنه کریم انصاری، گل توی دروازه کریم انصاری، دروازه پرتغال باز شد.
علی دایی سام توپ توی دروازه،
اشتباه حرکت از کوچان نژاد، فرصت برای کوچان نژاد توی دروازه، گل برای ایران.
به نام یزدان بخشنده و مهربان، سلام به شما هموطن عزیزم، عاشقان فوتبال در سرزمینم ایران. فضای پشت مدافعین بلغارستان، بازگشت ایلیا گروف، ضربه سر او به اشتباه، حالا فرصت، این پاس و گل اول ایران و حالا دروازه رو باز میکنه اونجا محبی. پسر بوشهری فوتبال ایران نشون داد ده چقدر بهش میاد. این صحنه کار خوب پورعلی گنجی است، تعقیب توپ یوزهای ایرانی. سامان قدوس سازنده گل ایران اینجا توپو بهش دادن، این پاس خوب و این سر و گل اول. و حالا خروج بیرانوند و گرفتن توپ. 19 دقیقه پرتاب دست علیرضا بیرانوند، امضای خاص او. بیرانوند احساس ناراحتی میکنه. یه لحظه اشتباه کردن، فرصت برای تارمی هست، پاس میده، حالا محبی ضربه‌شو میزنه که توپش به اوت میره. و حالا سانتر جهانبخش روی تیر 2، یه ضربه سر شجاع خلیل زاده و حالا موقعیت گل برای ایران که توپ بیرون زده شد. عزت اللهی قدر ندونست این فرصت رو. دوباره روسف و این ضربه زمینی که گرفتنش برای نیازمند خیلی ناز بود. علی جهان چه خواهد کرد باهاش و این توپ که موقعیت گل رو برای ایران خلق میکنه. ولی تارمی میتونه پاس بده برای همتیمیهاش، خود مهدی حالا این کار انجام میده که کسی نبود این توپو قطعش کنه. پاس به عقب میدن با دومینیک یانکوف، شوت از راه دور، توپ بیرون میره. ایران اگه میخواد از برتری خودش توی بازی دفاع بکنه نباید اجازه شوتانی به این راحتی بده. از جبهه راست محبی توپو داره، ضربهشو میزنه از این زاویه. این ضربه و تمام. بعد از 45 سال ایران و بلغارستان دومین بار روبروی هم قرار گرفتن. این بار ایران.
We're back, GolBezan. We're back like Saman Ghoddos. Welcome in if you're listening to us on podcast platforms or watching on YouTube. This is GolBezan. It's been a while since we've all convened. Life gets in the way, transfer rumors and uncertainty gets in the way, a lot of annoyances along that way, but we're back with you and we're happy to have another episode. I am Samson Tamijani hosting today's episode for some reason. I have with me some classics of GolBezan now. We have Daniel Kayal out of France. Daniel, what's up?
Good, thank you. How are you, Samson?
All right, excited to get to it, guys. And we also have Pezhman Pars wearing his crown jewel on his shirt. What's up, Pezhman? All right, yeah, these guys have joined me late in the night on Friday. We appreciate you guys making time to join us. We have a lot to just recap. We're going to try to fit it in a good amount of time, but nonetheless, a lot has happened. First off, Iran's first friendly since a nice little Central Asian friendly tournament, which they got some hardware, which is always nice to see, even if you're playing against some farmers and Uzbeks, right? A 1-0 win over Angola. Harsh. Yeah, let's be honest, guys. It's been a long week for me. It's been a long summer, especially this transfer crap that's happened. Is a good 1-0 victory. A good performance from Iran. A great assist from Ghoddos coming from the dead. It seemed like we hadn't seen him in an Iran shirt in forever. And he gets a great assist to Mohibi. And there's a downside right after that. Beiranvand threw the ball 3 miles, but in the process looked like he kind of pulled like his groin or something. We still haven't heard much confirmation on that. We'll get to that in a bit. But first off, what's our reaction just from this friendly? Finally being able to see Team Elite back in form. They play a UEFA opponent. Pezhman, I'll start with you.
I mean, as a Iranian football fan, I don't care which opponent we're playing. It's always nice to see the first team actually gathered and playing. So for me, I was pleased to see the Iran national team and even to play against, as you said, a UEFA team. Although we'll get into it, but this is the Bulgarian national team was something else that I was not expecting that.
That's not a good thing, is what you're saying.
I mean, it's good to play against a European team, but I've seen some of Bulgaria's games, but I think I never seen them this bad. To be honest, they made Iran look good rather than Iran made itself look good, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree with Pezhman. I think it was nice to play an European team against players that are used to play in competitive leagues. But it wasn't, when we're looking back at it, the best friendly we could get. We already in Asia are playing teams that are lower in a lower level than us, and when we're getting to the World Cup or playing in the high stages in the Asian Cup against Japan or South Korea, it's another step. And if during the friendlies we don't play this kind of game, then it will be very, very difficult when we'll be during those stages.
And it's a match in which you want to be able to see how informed key players are, give them some chances. And Iran indeed brought the A team minus several players. We could say, for one thing, we would have wanted to see Sayyadmanesh finally back from injury. We wanted him in the World Cup. He was too injured for that. And now that he's fit, he's called up for international duty for the U-23 team for Asian Cup qualifiers. Instead, we see the likes of I
think it's the Olympic qualifiers and the Asian Cup championship.
Yeah, the final round for that, the final tournament for that is in April. These were the qualifiers for that.
Yeah, sorry.
Not exactly the highest profile. I mean, I guess you just want to make sure that they qualify, but nonetheless, it would have been nice to see him. But at least he's getting some time with a national team, I guess. But other than that, Mohebi got a good goal, but he can mainly credit Salman Ghoddos for that. It was a great hustle play by him. Wouldn't you agree, Pezhman?
It was. I mean, players make mistakes all the time. It's not that weird, so that's strange. But to actually benefit from that and capitalize that's maybe the difference between a player with a lot of international or European experience, such as Salman. So he was really fast with that. In that situation, seeing that the defender of Bulgaria made that mistake, and also really quickly making that pass to Mohebi, who was there and just waiting. So I think that's Salman's goal, and it was really impressive how he just understood the situation.
Should we be concerned on the other end of the pitch with Beiranvand getting that injury? It looked like he was holding his groin. I wouldn't say hamstring. I think it was more of his groin. Daniel, do you think we should be concerned of that at this point, knowing that it's still about 4 or 5 months from the Asian Cup, knowing that they have the likes of Azmoun, Abedzadeh, Akbari, the others in goal? Should we be that worried? Is Beiranvand worth worrying that much about right now?
Well, I don't know how bad is his injury, but even if he wouldn't get injured since the World Cup, and even during the World Cup, I think he's not playing at the same level he used to play in 2018 when he showed us a very good level of football. And right now, even with Kotic, we saw Amir getting more and more minutes during his time, and Queiroz trusted him a lot, but I'm not sure that he is right now the #1 goalkeeper for Iran. I mean, it's quite open, and I think where for now Amir Ghalenway didn't call Amir, but other goalkeepers could could get a chance, and maybe we can have a surprise during Asian Cup.
Would you agree with that, Pezhman?
About the goalkeeping situation, maybe Beiranvand is number one, but the spots or like the gap between number one and number two in Iran isn't that big. I mean, Hosseini did a good job in the World Cup. I don't mind him playing. I've been a fan of Abedzadeh, but I don't think he should play if he doesn't play any minutes in Portugal now. Let's see how he does. Azmoun, he's a future number one for sure. Maybe this will be his time to shine and have a breakthrough, but that's not the most concerning part of for a national team in my eyes.
You want to see them lead by example. You want to see someone have the reflexes and the, I guess, timing that we've seen some goalkeepers have at times. Sometimes Beiranvand, sometimes Abedzadeh, definitely in terms of confidence. But leadership, I felt like that has sometimes lacked in certain cases. I think experience can help develop that. But there's a need for consistency right now, and Beiranvand proved that in a lot of his results in the past years. But it doesn't really help when he's smashing his skull or tweaking something whenever he does get a national team shirt back on. So I'd say that's a little concerning. But in the case of Thursday and in the case of Tuesday against Angola, you would expect the defense to hold firm enough. Poor Ali Ganji got the start, and I don't think he was too exposed like we saw back in June, and that was a positive, because we've seen him make some knucklehead mistakes in recent months. But that was it was good to see a clean sheet. It was good to see Bulgaria not get too many wide open chances. Now there were a few where you'd think, yeah, well, if that was more of a top team in UEFA, they'd probably put that one away. But their best chances really that actually made it to goal were, from beyond the penalty area, which I think is a positive on that end. But it seemed like, guys, another game in which Iran is a superior team, and they put one chance away, maybe early, or maybe just one that they really get a break or get some wide open space. And then they have three other chances to make it 3-0, 4-0, and they just kind of whiff on it. The assistant referee kind of sucked. It's pretty bad. But nonetheless, it's just another one of those games where you think, yeah, it's nice, but this could have been 3 or 4-0. Do we think we might regret that in future cases? Should this be like a kind of a concern, kind of mentality-wise? Like maybe we should be winning these games more if we get these kind of chances, especially with a Champions League striker like Taremi?
On one hand, I would say yes, we should. Of course, we should have won this game 2 or 3-0. But on the other hand, where is our level now? Is it really good for us to win 3 or 4-0 when we're not playing that well? And as I said before, I think when we will be facing a strong opponent, respecting Bulgaria for sure, but if we're playing tomorrow, we're playing Japan or South Korea, we won't have that many situations. It won't be that easy. They will score their opportunities, not like Bulgaria, and it will be much harder.
Yeah, playing up to the level of your opponent or playing down to the level of your opponent if you're playing against mediocre Middle Eastern or Central Asian teams or something like Bulgaria. I mean, that's at least my thought. I don't know if you think anything different, Pezhman. I don't know if this is worth worrying about right now. If you think so.
I would be more worried if I was a Bulgarian national team fan. The way they played, I was surprised. As I said, they made Iran look good. They made a player like Poor Ali Ganji, who I know will get exposed against South Korea, Japan, Saudi Arabia, Australia, even Iraq. They made him look like a really solid defender. So listen, the good thing that we should take from this game, even if like Bulgaria was bad, Iran was able to capitalize from that. Iran was like the better team, had more speed, more attacks. So they did what they needed to do to win the game. They could have scored maybe 1 or 2 more goals, or even, as you said, maybe Bulgaria could do the same. So I'm happy with the performance of the Iranian national team in this game.
We don't get to say that too often, that Iran was the faster team, unfortunately. We don't expect that out of guys necessarily like Hashsafi or Ezzatullahi, but they looked pretty okay. I would have liked Ezzatullahi to finish his chance. He hasn't scored for the national team in 5-6 years. So, I mean, we would hope for better with that. But again, it was, it was within like, what, 48 hours of them just getting together again finally. So hopefully, they gain some more chemistry, and we see that when they play at home against Angola on Tuesday. The big headlines that really brought out just as big a morale boost as you can get maybe from Iranian fans in a summer of an Iranian player moving to a much bigger named club with an even bigger named coach. That was Sardar Azmoun getting the move, a 1-year loan deal to Roma. As you can see from the video that we have up here of him being introduced. There's a little bit of a history with Roma and Iranian fans. In case anyone might be kind of late to the party joining us, Roma a few years ago gained a lot of Iranian fans online. They now have, since 2018, I think they have a Farsi language Twitter account, and I think it's safe to say the Iranians in Italy will definitely be becoming Roma fans now. What do we make of this transfer? Should we be all jumping for joy right now, Pezhman, Daniel?
Yes, we should. Yes, we should. Because let's be honest, we don't know if he actually deserves it. Looking back in his last year in Bayer Leverkusen, he had a rough start, decent. He was okay, but like, was he okay to play for a better club, which maybe we can say Roma is? I don't know. Hard to say. What's positive here? Positive for me is like a coach like Jose Mourinho. It feels like he have handpicked Azmoun, because they have talked privately before. Mourinho have praised Azmoun before. So like, hopefully Mourinho can get Azmoun's best qualities out of him. But we know there's a tough competition with Lukaku, Tammy Abraham, Belotti, one more guy I don't remember. So, and he won't play in the Europa League. So hopefully he will play more minutes in Serie A. But in my opinion, Azmoun's, when he's good, he's really good. I mean, I consider top 10 in the world with his headers. I think he's really good in the air. But he can like disappear in games as well. He's kind of like injury born. So I'm happy that we got a good Iranian player in a good Italian team with a good coach. I mean, that can hopefully open doors for other Iranians.
But he scores when he's fit, though, right? He scores when he's fit, Daniel?
No, but I completely agree with Pezhman. It is a good transfer. It is a chance to play for a club with that much history, with players that played at a very, very high level. For example, Lukaku, okay, right now he's not at his best, but he played at really World Cup semi-final, really good football with Inter and other clubs.
Some good football for Inter. I think some Inter fans would interrupt you there, but yeah.
Well, Lautaro would have loved Lukaku to come back. So, but anyway, he will be playing under Jose Mourinho, as Pezhman said, and that is really a big opportunity for him. It is a bit strange because I feel that Azmoun is very well known in European football, more than Taremi. Maybe not now, but in the past few years. But Taremi is playing better, and Azmoun is still getting good opportunities without even he didn't play good for Leverkusen, but he got a call from Jose Mourinho, and he wanted, as you said, he picked him up, and that is crazy. I think Azmoun really enjoyed being called up by Jose Mourinho and having the opportunity to play for a club with that much history. I fear for the competition because he's not the kind of player that loves competition with a lot of strikers and etc. But I think he can make something if he's staying fit. He can do a great season. He has the qualities. That's not the point, but it's his mentality. I hope that he will be strong and he will do everything to be the first team in the starting lineup.
We'll find out a lot more when he gets those minutes because we haven't really seen him in action yet. He hasn't gotten those minutes yet. He's still recovering from that injury that he had with Leverkusen. But when we do see him, and by the way, guys, with all our listeners and viewers, just don't ask us for where to find the kit online. I'm still looking myself. It hasn't been made available yet, unless someone is making some fakes in the bazaars of Tehran. Should we be more excited for him above anyone else in Europe with this news? There are several other changes that we'll get to about this transfer window, but considering Taremi did not get a move to AC Milan like he wanted, like we think he wanted, should we then just put most of our attention to Azmoun this coming autumn, leading into the Asian Cup, hoping that he does play in the Asian Cup?
Yes, I believe so, because there haven't been any more major changes. As you said, Taremi stayed in Porto. I think they know what they can get of him, and he knows what to do in Portugal. So the expectations are high, but still, it's like the same. Now he's been there for 5 years now. While Azmoun is breaking ground for Iranian players. He is like the first Iranian forward attacker in Serie A. We had I think Ali Samere, who played like 2 minutes for Perugia or something like that. So I don't know how much we can count on that, but this is something new. This is someone that they actually believe in. So yeah, Azmoun's move to Italy is one of the biggest in Iranian transfer history, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. But it would have been topped, I think, by I think it's safe to say it would have been topped by Taremi moving to AC Milan. Is this concerning for Taremi, knowing that he didn't get this move? He hasn't exactly played inspired for Porto in the meantime, and he didn't exactly look as hungry as or executing as well as we had hoped against Bulgaria. We'll see in the Angola match, but should we be concerned for Taremi, Daniel?
Well, he's a human being, so it's normal that he's been affected by it. But Taremi is a very serious player and has a great mentality. I think he will overstep this obstacle, and it's normal that he's been disappointed. I mean, he was so close to go to the second most title in UCL club. So yes. It's a big disappointment, but he will overcome it.
Should he be getting some new agents?
Well, we'll see when.
Hopefully, just having one agent.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a big disappointment to see. It was a constant back and forth of, oh, he's got some intermediaries. Oh, he's got this agent wanting this. Porto wants more. AC Milan doesn't want to pay that. It's Porto's fault. Oh, the intermediaries, they want a higher fee. I'm just thinking, why do we have this? Why do we have this mess that keeps us from getting nice things as an Iranian football fan base? Why do we have this happen when it can be as simple as he scored 30 goals or more in the last year? He scored one of the greatest goals in recent Champions League history, an amazing bicycle kick. He is by far the offensive star now for a major club of Porto. And yet no one wants to bother with this mess after seeing what happened in AC Milan. It's in my opinion, it's really shameful because he could acquire so much more attention. He could, the non-East Asian version of Asian football, of representing that, like how Son does for Korea. Taremi should be that. He kind of is that, but we're not really seeing that on a large scale, at least in Europe. That's my take on it. The other almost as big news that attracted our attention over this summer was recently Saman Ghoddos, the man of the match of the last friendly. He chose to keep his number one bench warmer place in Brentford. Am I being harsh about that, guys? Should we be excited that he's choosing to stay with the Premier League team? Daniel?
Well, regarding his opportunities after contract expiring, I think it's not a bad option. We didn't see any good transfer, any good contract. So seems that it's not a bad comeback, but we'll see if he will be given any minutes in Premier League. Brentford is a good club, so I know that he will stay fit there, that he will be ready to play. He will play with players that are used to play in Premier League, the best championship in the world. So it's not a bad move.
Pezhman, I know you have to.
Not even a move.
Yeah, Pezhman, I know you have to run in a little bit. Real quick, do you agree on that? You seem to know a little bit more about Saman than most people.
Yeah, but nothing about this transfer, to be honest. But I must say I'm kind of like disappointed on his agents. Probably like they knew this situation for like even probably long before that it became official that he's leaving. So like how could it take 3-4 months and nothing have been accepted, or haven't been any offers? I mean, what have happened here that's made him go back to his club when he was even a free agent, So I don't know. I think that the agents should, and they probably have done all they can do, but if they in 3 months haven't been able to find a single club for him that's like on his level, it's a bit concerning for me. And yeah,
at least we can say he played well in the friendly game, returning to the Iran national team. We'll see if that maybe helps his case, maybe to get more playing time in Brentford. Another transfer that happened, or lack of transfer that happened, kind of following that same theme, was Majid Hosseini, a very relied upon sweeper for Team Milli, staying at Turkish Super League side Kayserispor. Despite being out of contract, he chose to stay, and he seemed to like where he's at. We're gonna let a cameo appearance by Arya come in and share his thoughts with that.
Hi everyone. Obviously, I'm not on the podcast today, but I'm glad to see that the boys are recording an episode. It's been a while since we've had a podcast out, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. Just to have a couple of my thoughts, as I couldn't be on, regarding Majid Hosseini. His transfer was likely, because obviously he was out of contract with Kayserispor, but of course he decided to re-sign with the club, and he's joining them on a bigger contract than he was on before. He's going to be making a lot more money. So from a financial perspective, it's better for him. He had offers from a few different clubs, specifically Metz in France as one, but didn't really have the same kind of, I would say, financial offer than he would have got in Turkey with Kayserispor, and also clubs in and Qatar and Saudi Arabia were of course interested in him, but he chose to stay in Turkey. So that was really it. And I think one of the main reasons why he didn't have the offers, which is probably what everyone's kind of I think more concerned about, is because he didn't have a great season when it came to the second half of the season after the World Cup. He didn't play so well for Kayserispor. Obviously had a couple of injuries as well, and simply the offers didn't come in, the ones that he was hoping for. So he decided to stay at the club.
Talking on Sayyadmanesh, we're going to also hear from Arya about this in a few seconds, but he, by another crazy look at the draw, with another trend of Iranians being rumored for seemed like ages of making a move, did not make a move. He is also staying at Hull City. He's just now being fit. He just played with the U-23 team, and he's staying at Hull City in the championship in England. Here's what Arya had to tell us about that.
And with regards to Al-Ahjar Sayyadmanesh, again, a player who had injuries last season, didn't make the World Cup, of course, with the big injury, and he had another injury after the World Cup. But of course, he was still expected to be a key player for Hull City in a championship this season coming up. He had been spoken to by coaching staff when they were when they were on a pre-season tour in Turkey. They played against Galatasaray. He got an assist. The coaches out there in Hull City had mentioned to him that he would be a key player for them, considering his pace out wide. They were trying to utilize his pace in wide areas. So I think there was a moment where he was almost guaranteed a starting position for the upcoming season. But then all of a sudden, they made a couple of signings. Scott Twine had come in, and they just chose to go a different way. And Al-Ahjar wasn't part of the plans anymore for very, very, within a couple of weeks. He was not part of the plans. And for him, he was obviously frustrated as a result, which would be, I think, when you've been told one thing and then all of a sudden now you're told something else. And then after that, he got an injury to his calf during preseason training, which didn't help. And I think he was looking for a move, potentially going to America. Colorado Rapids were very keen on getting him. They've been keen on getting him for a number of years. Of course, Stephen Beitashour, our good friend, plays for Colorado Rapids, and it was almost going to be his teammate, but it didn't work out. He had an injury, as I mentioned, and I think in the end, Colorado just chose to not go ahead with the deal to take him to the MLS, and so he's going to stay in Hull City, of course, for the duration of the season, or he may leave again in January. We shall see how that goes. There were rumours from Iranian media, Varzish trying to say that he was going to sign for a Premier League team. It's not true. I don't know how that could even happen for a guy who didn't even play last season. So yeah, besides that, he's playing at Hull City this season. Hopefully he will play more games. He played against Leicester City last weekend for about 5 or so minutes. He's going to be part of the U-23 squad, of course, this month. He just scored a goal recently as well for the team. So hopefully as the season progresses, he will get more playing time and get back into the starting lineup. Other than that, appreciate everyone for listening and supporting our work, and hopefully I'll be back on soon. Take care. Cheers.
Daniel, what do you make about this trend of guys just staying where they're at? Is that a good move for before the Asian Cup? We got Hosseini staying where he's at, Salman staying where he's at, now Sayyadmanesh staying where he's at. Will this be maybe consistency that's good for us in January? Do you get a feeling of that, or we'll just have to wait and see?
Well, only time will tell. It will depend on what the next months will give them. For example, if someone is getting more minutes in Premier League and playing good football, then he will maybe have a better spot regarding Thomas Frank. And on the other side, Majid, if he's playing, he's not getting injured, playing a lot for Kayserispor. he could finally get a transfer to a West European club. I think it's the next step for him. He played in Iran, in Turkey, and I think it's the time to move on. It is a bit disappointing that he's staying, because I think he's a player with a talent and some space. Yeah, he has still he can progress a lot still, but yes, him staying there does not helping progress a lot. So he'll need to do a lot of individual work to improve and to finally have an Western European move.
Yeah, there's the potential, but the question is there ambition? And as Arya touched a little bit upon it, we see this in so many Iranian players. It's about their own personal ambition. It's about if they have the support staff behind them with agents and all that to help make this happen. And I think that will translate to Team Milli success whenever that time comes. In this case, in January. But time's running out. I mean, there has to be there has to be some urgency with a lot of these players to be in the best form as they can, if we should expect ourselves to get into the finals of the Asian Cup. Not just win, just get to the finals. That hasn't happened in such a long time. Other notable transfers: Ali Holizadeh finally leaving Charleroi after quite some time, going to Lech Poznan. I don't even know if I said that right, but they're in the Polish league right now. They're kind of the middle of the pack. They're in 10th place last time I checked.
But I think they're playing European football, no?
Yeah, and is it the Conference League? I haven't verified that yet,
Yes.
but yeah. We also have Mohebi, who just scored. He made that move to Rostov in Russia, which is a good, as we were talking about in that Spaces before the Bulgaria match. It's a good footballing move, but with everything going on in Russia, it's like, do you really want to be in Russia during all this when you're trying to make that next step in your career? Who's going to be scouting those games? What Western clubs are buying tickets to Russia to go scout him?
That is exactly what I'm asking myself.
If he expects to use that as a stepping stone to a bigger club, or does he think that this is the best that he can get? So
it's difficult to say. We've seen some transfer with Russia, players going out or going in, but I'm not. I mean, it's like it's very cloudy. We cannot say if there will be some scouting, if it will be a good opportunity for him or not. It's hopefully playing well with Iran national team will be good for him.
And that's what we're missing really in the World Cup. We're missing the next spark behind Azmoun and Taremi in the attack. That wasn't Sayyadmanesh. It was him. He got injured, and we'll see if he really returns that back to form. But there's a lot of disparity, and that's a little worrying. If you have Azmoun or Taremi get a knock or aren't available in the World Cup, where's that next spark coming from? In terms of true
agree.
attackers, strikers.
Yes, I agree, and I think Mohebi is bringing something different to the team. During World Cup, we had no players with great pace. For example, Mohebi has pace, Al-Lawyer has pace, and having pace is something that we lack in our team, and he's bringing that. I think another player that we didn't use in Team Milli and he's still playing well is Mehrdad Mohammadi. He did really well in Portugal. He's doing okay right now, but he has a lot of pace, and I think we should use him for national team. We lack those kind of players, and of course, Al-Lawyer, if he's staying fit and can do a full season, then it will be of course someone to pick up and maybe to play in the starting lineup.
Yeah, notable maybe snub from this camp was, as you said, Mehrdad Mohammadi. The other was Amir Abedzadeh, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
He returns to Portugal for a club for Marítimo after spending the last couple seasons with Ponferradina in Spain, in the Liga Segunda, as they call it there, the second division. Is there still space? Is there still time for him in this World Cup? The last true chance he really got was kind of whiffing against Korea, letting Son score from outside the box that went through his hands. Not to snub Son, it was a good shot, but it was a very good savable shot. He hasn't really seen the light of day since then. Is there still? But he's staying in the Iberian Peninsula. He's back in Portugal. If he gets those minutes, should he be considered for number one in the Asian Cup after completely missing out on playing time to Hossein Hosseini in the World Cup? Do we think he can redeem himself in the coming months?
Yes, of course he can. Well, going back to Portugal is not a bad move, but the second league, I expect better from Amir Abedzadeh. He's very well known in Portugal. He's liked. He could have maybe find a club in the first division. He has the level for it. And but yeah, maybe goalkeeper spot are rare, so that's maybe the reason. And about coming back to Team Melli, well, he's not called up right now in this camp, but I think that he has the level, and it has to do a lot with confidence. I mean, every high level athletes and yeah, footballers have a lot has to do with mental, but for goalkeepers, I think it's the most. And if he has confidence, I think he's a very good goalkeeper. He's not the tallest, but he's very good with his feet, and he can give something else. I mean, we're not a team playing with possession, but we're keeping the ball, but yeah, he can give something else to Team Melli. So yes, I think if he's playing regularly good football, he should be called up.
Right. Yeah, no, I definitely agree, Daniel. As for some things to watch for in the coming days, in the coming weeks, we still ahead. We still need to get to previewing the match against Angola. We'll do that in a minute. But first, I want to mention some things of kind of the what to watch for list. As we know, as we've mentioned several times, the Asian U-23 qualifiers are happening right now. If Iran wins this group with Hong Kong, Uzbekistan, and Afghanistan, they will automatically go to the tournament, which will be in mid-April in Qatar, in which the top three teams from that will qualify for the Olympics in some terrible city, I think, called Paris. Daniel, I don't know if you know about that place.
Yeah, that's it.
But it would be nice. It would be nice to have you covering that for us. I think we might be able to get you in, get a nice GolBezan presence at the Olympics. That would be nice.
Well, let's hope that we qualify for it.
Yeah. Hasn't happened in a
so
good,
yes,
good time.
first we have to go to the Asian Cup, and then we'll see.
Right. Iran first beat Hong Kong the other day 3-0. At the time of this recording, haven't yet played Afghanistan, but unless something goes horribly wrong, that should be a win as well, in which case the group would be decided by Uzbekistan in the game against Uzbekistan on Tuesday, same day as the game against Angola. Also, big news happening that we'll be watching for this upcoming club season is Iran and Saudi Arabia being confirmed by the Asian Football Confederation to again playing matches home and home, meaning if the national teams get matched together in the final qualification group of the 2026 World Cup, that means that we will have games in Jeddah or Riyadh, wherever they would be, and we would have games back in Tehran, assuming there is still a stadium to play it at. And obviously, that also means certain players, meaning Ronaldo, meaning who am I missing? What's Saudi
Benzema,
Benzema,
Neymar.
and Neymar would be playing in Iran. Is this should we necessarily be celebrating this, or should we just hope? Okay, now the Iranian teams have to represent, play well. Is this a good thing?
Well, it cannot be a bad thing to have a lot of spotlight on Iran football. I think Asian football was comparing to American, South American, African, or European, of course. It was the part of the world where football was less watched by foreigners. For example, in France, we don't at all talk about Asian football. But right now, French football TV is showing Saudi Arabia League since this summer. So there is a lot of they share a lot about the Saudi League, Saudian football, and I think it's good for Asian football. Will it be good for us? Well, as I said, it cannot be bad, but let's hope that our infrastructure, VAR, quality of broadcasting, let's hope that everything will be updated and ready, because it's not. We will be welcoming some of the best players in the world, and it will be a shame to not have a nice stadium with nice broadcasting and VAR and everything.
Yeah,
so
easier said than done, though, right?
Yeah,
for them at least.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people at home or in the car listening to this will be like, would think, man, that could be Iran in a parallel universe, having a league like that. It's like looking in a parallel universe mirror, considering the Iran having the superior footballing culture dating back to the mid 20th century. I mean, this is what Iran could have been, and we'll get a taste of reality when we see these clubs play. And of course, the Angola match, which is Tuesday at 3 p.m. That's 1500 hours Central European time, 6 a.m. if you are in the Pacific coast of the U.S. So that's 6 a.m. LA time, Portland, Vancouver, Canada, wherever you're at. And 16:30, it's 4:30 in the afternoon, local time in Tehran. We'll try to have a Twitter space before that game happens. We'll try to make that work. Not making any promises though. But a little bit about Angola though, Daniel. Angola, they are I think the 27th, if I counted that correctly, 27th ranked team in Africa. Their last match was Thursday. They drew at home, I think, in the African Cup of Nations qualifying against Madagascar. They defeated Lesotho 4-2. Other than that, they've lost to Mauritius 1-0. They've tied Mozambique, and in June beat Central African Republic. And the last notable result was in March. They tied, made a 1-1 draw against Ghana. That's the best that we can speak about them. But it should be another game that Iran should win if they stick to plan, and there aren't any real surprises there. I mean, anything can happen in these friendlies. Their best player that I could see plays for Fiorentina, Inzola, I believe his name is, and a couple other players who play in Serie B, play in other leagues. I think a player or two plays for Ghent. We'll be talking about that on Tuesday in the space. What do you look to in this match against Angola? It's the first match against Angola since I believe a closed door friendly in 2014 before the World Cup that ended in a 1-1 draw, and before that the embarrassing exit in the 2006 World Cup, another 1-1 draw. So these two games, Bulgaria had never beaten them before, only drawn, and they beat them, have a chance to get a first win ever against Angola. So yeah, Danielle, what do you hope from this match?
It's not the same Angola that we played in 2006. They're not qualifying for World Cup anymore. So I think that they're at the same, even lower level than Bulgaria. But now that the friendly schedule and we'll play them, I think it's important that the team improve their chemistry. So to field a really nice lineup. I've liked the lineup, saying Ghoddos. He's a player that with more minutes to Team Melli can bring really something different. He can create great opportunities, and in the past he didn't play a lot, so I hope that he will have his chance and he will take it. Regarding the other players, I think Holinoi played Taremi up front. That is very good, but I'm still waiting to see how he will deal when Azmoun will be back and he will have those two strikers fit and ready. So if he's changing the system, then why play a system that you will not continue with in friendlies?
Yeah, and you would hope that he mixes up the lineup a little bit. I mean, there's got to be some shaking in the lineup to see who fits where, and to have some flexibility, give some extra guys a chance. To have some depth. We need to guarantee ourselves some depth, and we have a few more chances in October and November. But I mean, even in November, those matches are competitive; those are qualifiers, and then I think that's it. Maybe a warm-up match right before the Asian Cup. But these are the matches where we need to see some guys make some impressions. Some guys show themselves that they can get a spot, that they can compete for a starting position. We had the same very familiar back four, excuse me, in the match against Bulgaria. Had Haj Safi, later replaced Milad Mohammadi, played back later. Ezotolahi in the middle, Ghoddos subbed out for Moghalu, I believe, Javanbakhsh, Taremi up front, and Rezayan as the right back. Rezayan played the full 90 minutes, him and Poirali Ganji, I believe. So we would hope to see a little bit of a different lineup and see who can really make an impression from there. Yeah, Daniel, anything else beyond that?
No, let's wait and see. What time is the game again?
It is at I believe 4:30 Tehran time, and by Pezhman's calculations, he said that's 3 p.m. In Central European time. All right. So and again, we'll provide you guys some streaming info on that as we get it. And nothing's ever guaranteed, but it is in Iran. Varzesh say usually has those games if you can stream on the website and get Iranian websites. But otherwise, we'll be trying to provide that for you. And yeah, and feel free to give us your feedback and your questions after the match. We'll definitely have an episode right after, and just follow along at GolBezan on all social medias, including Threads. That's a new thing that's popping up now. So we have a Threads as well, Facebook, Twitter, aka X, Instagram, all of that. And please subscribe to us if you've not already. If you're just now discovering us on YouTube, if you hit that subscribe button, that really helps us out a lot as we continue to grow our program. And yeah, we'll see you for the match on Tuesday. Pezhman had to leave earlier, but Daniel, I appreciate you joining me on this late night.
Thank you very much, Samson. Thank you everyone too for listening.
All right, we'll see you guys in the next episode of GolBezan.
Hi, my name is Ghoddos. I'm playing for the Iranian national team and Brentford Football Club, and you are listening to GolBezan podcast.